How does an empire fall? Through war? Through betrayal? Through revolution? No. Sometimes it all begins with a silent decision, signed behind closed doors. In 1767, King Charles III signed a decree that would forever change the fate of the Americas: the expulsion of the Jesuits. Why would such a powerful religious order be banished from the entire Spanish Empire? What role did they play in education, culture, and even the military defense of the colonies? Today, we uncover how the departure of the Jesuits marked the beginning of the end for the Spanish Empire in the Americas. Founded in 1540 by Ignatius of Loyola, the Society of Jesus was more than a religious order. In the New World, they carried no weapons. They brought violins, books, and telescopes. They built reductions, indigenous communities that were organized, educated, and self-sufficient. They taught agriculture, metalwork, Baroque music, astronomy, and even crafted their own weapons to defend themselves from Portuguese attacks. They founded universities, hospitals, and schools. Their library in Lima had over 40,000 books, more than Harvard at the time. The Jesuits were not just missionaries. They were intellectuals, scientists, and educators. In the Hispanic system, the church was a counterbalance to royal absolutism. Inspired by the school of Salamanca, the Jesuits defended a radical idea for the time: that the king's power was not divine, but granted by the people. If the king did not rule for the common good, the people had the right to rebel. Monarchs didn't like that. Meanwhile, Protestantism and Enlightenment thought were gaining ground in England, and France promoting the removal of religion from public life. The Jesuits stood in the way of this new order. King Charles III, advised by ministers like Aranda, Campomanes, and Floridablanca, saw the Jesuits as an independent force too powerful to control. They owned vast communal lands and ran a self-sufficient network of commerce and production. They were accused of conspiring, especially after the Esquilache riots, though no real evidence was ever presented. At the same time, Portugal and France were also expelling them as part of their campaigns to strengthen the state and reduce the church's influence. In 1767, a royal decree ordered the expulsion of the Jesuits from all Spanish territories, including the Americas and the Philippines. They were arrested in coordinated raids, deported, and sent into exile. Their property, schools, churches, hospitals, even printing presses were seized by the state. But no one could fill the void they left behind. The reductions collapsed. Indigenous people were left vulnerable to abuse. Education suffered deeply. Creole elites lost their main centers of learning and began to feel a deep sense of grievance. The Jesuits' expulsion prepared the ground for the unraveling of Spanish control in the Americas. Without their intellectual and spiritual backbone, Spanish America became fragmented and exposed. The Creoles they had educated would later become the leaders of the independence movements. Guarani natives, left without protection, were plundered and enslaved. It was a political, ideological, and economic decision that weakened Spain and opened the door for British and French dominance on the world stage. The expulsion of the Jesuits was not just a religious act. It was a geopolitical move that dismantled the backbone of Spain's empire in the Americas. A lesson in how political decisions, when they break the cultural fabric of a people, can have irreversible consequences. Do you think the Spanish Empire could have survived without expelling the Jesuits? Tell me in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and help us keep telling the stories others won't. See you in the next episode, fellow time explorers.